Update news: Ukraine war, Putin's annexation will fail, say Ukrainians at Eastern Front. As Russia's Vladimir Putin announces the annexation of swathes of sovereign Ukrainian territory, issues nuclear threats and mobilizes hundreds of thousands of reservists, the response from Ukrainian forces on the Eastern Front is unchanged. They will fight for every last inch of soil. We travel to frontline positions in the city of Bakhmut in Donetsk, one of the 4 regions which President Putin is now illegally claiming as his own. Our journey is made in stages. We slow down to cross the Bakhmutovka River, speed up to cover exposed ground, then weave through a dangerous curtain of downed power lines. For the last few meters, we run. All the while, the shelling is constant, part of war's familiar soundscape. But when we reach the frontline troops, inside a battle-scarred building, we hear something else, the crackle of small arms fire. The two sides are so close they can target each other with rifles. The Russians are around 400 meters, 437 yards in front of us, and trying hard to close in. We are warned there is a Russian sniper to the rear. At his post below ground, where a ginger cat keeps him company, the unit commander is somber and blunt. "It's pretty hard here now," says Alexandra, a 31-year-old. "It's stressful. Everyone is under pressure. The enemy is very near, but we are standing and fighting back." He dismisses President Putin's recent referendums as "it's pretty hard here now," and says Ukrainians will not be dictated to at the barrel of a Russian gun. "In my view, those referendums will change nothing. We will fight Putin's army and make them withdraw from our land," he says. Alexandra knows the cost of war, and not only from fighting his own battles. "My brother died," he tells me, adding, "In my view, those referendums will change nothing. We will fight Putin's army and make them withdraw from our land." He has not lost his will to fight. Neither has 25-year-old Roman, who is operating a key weapon in this war, a drone. Roman is upstairs in a bombed-out room, littered with debris and broken glass, where 2 more cats are in residence. The screensaver on his phone is a picture of his 5-month-old son Carlo, born since the war broke out. He has seen his only child once. "I see him in pictures and video, not in real life," he says. "I see him in pictures and video, not in real life. I don't want them to do what they did in Bucha. I lived in Kyiv, and I understand clearly how the women feel. If we are weak, they will come for our families." There is concern here about the mobilization in Russia. In the coming months, the Kremlin will be sending many more soldiers into battle. It is unclear how well trained or well equipped they will be, but the Ukrainians are worried about the quantity, not the quality. They are already outnumbered. In the battle for Bakhmut, they have faced a seemingly endless supply of Russian fighters. In August, there were 5 waves in a row, according to Irina, an army spokeswoman. "They just go, and they don't stop. They don't react to firing or shelling." Some of the prisoners of war we captured were from Wagner, a Russian mercenary group. They had better weapons, Irina says. Troops here believe the Russians are pushing hard for victory in Bakhmut because of their recent humiliating defeats in the northeast and the south, where Ukraine reclaimed about 6,000 square kilometers, 2,317 square miles of territory. For now, Bakhmut is stuck in President Putin's throat. It is an obstacle in his bid to swallow all of a mineral-rich area known as Donbas, comprised of Donetsk and Luhansk. Having failed to fully capture Donbas, he has annexed both regions. As he tries to conquer Bakhmut, once home to about 70,000 people, the city has been bled of life. Downtown we see a large apartment block with the center gouged out by an airstrike 3 months ago. Many of the windows are boarded up. It looks abandoned, but my colleague hears a woman's cry inside the building. We call out, and Ludmila appears from behind the plastic sheeting that covers her window on the 2nd floor. At first, it is difficult to hear her over the deep rumble of rocket fire. "It's very hard," she shouts. "They bombard us. Yesterday a man was killed in the backyard, by shelling. There's almost no one left in the building. Everything is leaking. There is water everywhere. All the walls are cracked. It is very difficult. But at least we get humanitarian aid. Every 3 days, they bring bread." The white-haired pensioner is living in the shattered building with her husband and a handful of others. "We can't go anywhere," she tells us. "We have no money, and I am in a wheelchair." A neighbor tells us the building has been hit 5 times. Ludmila was in her kitchen when the missile struck on 1st of July. "It came, out of the blue," she says. "God himself saved me." But can the city be saved? For now, the front line is holding. Ukrainian forces are blocking the Russian advance. But here even the dead are not safe. There is an old cemetery on the city's green outskirts, in the path of incoming shells. Mounds of dark soil top the fresh graves, those killed in recent months, since the city became a battleground. As a coffin is lowered into the ground, watched by a few mourners, the silence is broken by shelling. The first launch is outgoing, but moments later an incoming round lands in the hills opposite the graveyard. Then a second strike, closer still. It is time to leave. As we race towards the edge of Bakhmut, there is an explosion on the road right in front of us, between 100 to 200 meters ahead. We manage a sharp left turn and follow another route out. Many battles are still raging in Ukraine. President Putin is doubling down, and winter is coming. This is a dangerous new phase in Europe's newest war. When asked how long she thought the conflict would last, the army spokeswoman replied, a long, long time.